DC Multiverse!
So, how goes it, super friends? Welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to present to you my review of the McFarlane Collector's Edition DC Multiverse Alan Scott Green Lantern and the variant gold label Dread Lantern from Dark Knight's Metal. Both of these figures, they utilize the exact same body buck, and there really isn't very much difference between either of the two. Save for the fact that if we compare the head sculpts of both of these Alan Scott figures, the Dread Lantern, well, he's got fire coming out of his eyes. And the regular one, well, he's just got the purple mask. The Dread Lantern also has more muted colors, as well as a completely different symbol on his chest and spiky gauntlets, as well as the fact that he comes with a fiery sword. While the regular Alan Scott figure, it boasts the recognizable classic colors of a nice bright red, Christmas time green, and a purple cape that, as you can see, unlike the Dread Lantern, actually has green on the inside. And Alan Scott comes with a power battery and a power construct. Another detail between the two is that the regular version of Alan Scott has the details on his boots painted yellow, while the Dread Lantern, they're just left that, well, the dreaded maroon. Now, while, as you can see, both figures here come with a trading card, as always, what is supposed to set the collector's edition figures apart is they come with this stand for the trading cards to come in. And as much as I think this is cool as an action figure reviewer to have something to put really any trading card in, so long as, you know, the color scheme of the card matches that of the display base, I'm not entirely sure that the additive of a card display, while the card being sure more attractive with the silvery shiny lettering embossed down the side and no edges and silver on the back, I'm not really sure that either of these factors contributes enough to the fact of the price being $10 more. Alan Scott's cape, being that really malleable, really bendy rubber, is nice, and the sculpt of his cape looks really good as well. I like this. It looks flowing, it looks bunched, but it also has kind of a neutral-ish aspect to it. You know, it's not completely taking over with how the cape would be off to the side like some McFarlane capes we've seen in the past. And then we have Dread Lantern, a character whom I'm sure a lot of you folks at home have no idea who it is. Essentially, this is an Alan Scott that sacrifices his life, his freedom, and his very dignity to protect Earth when the heroes of that Earth cannot overcome a nasty, nasty villain that goes by the name of Surtur. He's practically unstoppable, and he would have destroyed the Earth, but Alan Scott decided to become his emissary and master of the flaming sword, and take him all around the galaxy, letting him feast on other planets, just so long as he leaves Earth alone. And yeah, this is the look that he takes on as the Dread Lantern. Well, when you compare the figure side by side with the imagery, it's not completely accurate. The cape itself should actually be green on the inside as well and have scallops at the top, and the neck piece is different and so are the boots, but I'm honestly not, I don't care. I think that this is a pretty great reuse of these parts with the simple adaptation of the wrist guards, the bracers here, and the fire coming out of the eyes, and you essentially have a whole nother figure. I do like the fact that the gauntlets and the medallions here that hold his cloak on and his belt buckle are painted gold instead of yellow, and I like this tone of green for his trousers. And that fire coming out of the Dread Lantern's eyes, that looks sick. Now, the articulation for these guys, because this is essentially, I suppose you would think of this as a new buck, because I can't see any reused parts. Can you? I mean, maybe the upper legs, perhaps, but I think this is pretty much all newly sculpted pieces. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what it is. So it's a good time to get into the articulation, which is torso giving us, ooh, that's not bad. That's a pretty good range of motion. And with the waist, yeah, no complaints there. We can get his arms up, get his head back into, I keep slipping. Pretty good flight pose there, my goodness. And just be aware that because he has that cape that's draped over the shoulders, it will get in the way. Actually, you know what? It looks like it is, but it's actually not. It's only going up this far because it's reached the end of its rounded hinge articulation point. So the cape doesn't actually hinder it at all. And I guess if you want to put his arms all the way up, I guess, it'll get in the way a little bit because they can't go straight close together, but that's actually not that bad. That, for me, that's nothing worth writing home about and complaining. We've also got a bicep swivel, as we've come to expect. Double jointed elbows for the pair of them that crunch up nicely. He's going to have full articulation at the wrists with that rounded hinge and the peg. He's actually got his noodle on a ball peg, which no complaints with how well that is articulated. I think that looks pretty good. Then we've got, whoop, oh, wow, that is, dude, that's a lot of articulation. That's right out there. And does he have that one piece of articulation that I'm consistently whining about? I want it to rotate inside the leg. I want the articulation up inside the leg here to rotate. And this does literally nothing. Literally nothing. And this is such an easy thing to improve upon. What I mean is this, and I'm sorry for the mess, I'm in the middle of customizing him, but you can see how it rotates around that which has been put down in the inside of the leg. That could very easily be done with every one of Todd's figures, and they could all have full and total rotation here, but for some reason they don't, which kind of stinks. But they do get, regardless, these Alan Scott figures do get a good amount of articulation down there, as well as double jointed knees that crunch up into all kinds of dramatic flight poses and stuff like that. And you've got that rounded hinge in the ankle. This one is kind of sculpted to look like his boot. It's not completely round, so I'm going to say it's like a sculpted rounded hinge. Toe articulation right here, and we can see that the whole thing will also pivot. So, you know, these are pretty articulated Alan Scott figures. I'm going to say that these are the best Alan Scotts that we've gotten so far, ever, from anyone. So yeah, what do I think about Alan Scott and Alan Scott? Alan the Good, the bringer of the light, and Alan the emissary of evil, and the omen of destruction. Personally, Alan Scott, being pretty much as close to the classic as we're going to get, is fantastic because I like building out my basic characters. I always love doing that, so as many basic normal characters as Todd can shovel out, I will absolutely be more than stoked to take them into my collection. And the same thing can be said for the Dark Knights, metal, and death metal characters, and all things related to the Dark Multiverse. Anyway, super friends, that's all I have for today, so thank you so much for tuning in and watching this review. If you know people who don't know who I am, and you think they might enjoy my videos, please share what I do with them, because I want this channel to keep growing and keep reaching more people. And there's a lot of people who have no idea who I am in the action figure collecting community. Anyway, have a DC day, everybody, and take care. Bye for now.